Tell me the story of how you and Dad met.
The story of how Dad and I met. Okay, so it was 1996. I was going to a Halloween party at a bar in the city called T.G. Whitney's. I was going with one of my friends. I dressed up as a Blockbuster employee, and that Blockbuster used to be where you rented movies from.
Mm.
And Dad was at the party, and he was dressed up like Judge Ito, who was the judge over the O.J. Simpson trial back then. So we were both there, and he came over to me and kind of jokingly said, "Do you work at Blockbuster? Or do you really work at Blockbuster?" And then we just started talking, and then he got my number, and he called me a couple days later, and we went out to dinner, and then we just went from there.
What were your first impressions of him?
My first impressions, he was very sweet and just funny, and we just had a really nice conversation that first night in the bar, and then the next time we went out, we just hit it off, and I just liked him.
What did you do on your first date?
First date, we went for drinks at the Black Fin in the city, and then we went out to a restaurant, Arizona 206. None of these places are around anymore.
What were your main methods of communication then?
The phone. We didn't have texting, so we would call each other, and then we would meet up and see each other in person. There was no texting.
How did you know things were getting serious?
I guess when he started coming around, I was living with Grandma and Papa then, and he would start coming around a lot. And then I met his parents, so I guess that would be probably more serious when I met his parents, because they lived in Massachusetts.
What did your family think of him at first?
I think they liked him. He was very quiet, but he started, warming up to things, and everyone liked him.
When did you know that you would end up getting married?
I think by that summer. We met in October. I think by that summer, he asked me to go on vacation with him and his family, your grandparents and aunts, and they had a house in Cape Cod, so I went along with them, and I think that's when I knew.
Describe your engagement story.
He told me we were going to a party for someone he worked with, and it was going to be in Brooklyn Heights, and we had to get dressed up, and so I did. It was a summer night. It was August, so we were going out to this party, and actually what happened was he took me out. First he said, "I want to stop at the Brooklyn Promenade in Brooklyn Heights," which is basically the skyline. So you go, it's remember we went to the Brooklyn Bridge last year, and we went to the promenade, which is basically kind of like cobblestone along the waterfront there in Brooklyn, and you can see the lower Manhattan. So he wanted to stop by there, so we said, let's just get out here and take a peek. So we did, and he proposed to me at the Brooklyn Promenade over, which is beautiful at night, the skyline, and that was back when there's, the Twin Towers were still standing, so it was this beautiful skyline, and he proposed to me, and there was no work party, so he proposed to me there, and then he had a dinner reservation at the River Cafe in Brooklyn. So we went and had this wonderful dinner, and then he came back to Grandma and Pop-Pop's house, where we shared, the news.
Was there anything unexpected that happened at the wedding?
At the wedding?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. It was pretty regular.
What was the most special part of your wedding?
The most special part of the wedding, I think that Uncle Charlie said our mass. So that was special, because it wasn't just the priest in the parish. It was my uncle, who had done all of the sacraments for me. So he baptized me. He was at my communion. He was at my confirmation. And then he married us at my church. So I think that was probably the most special thing to me.
What is your secret to making marriage work for a lifetime?
The secret to making the marriage work, keep talking, constantly keep talking and making an effort. We have to make an effort for each other outside of you guys, the kids, where it's just him and I. We have to always make that a priority. And we always have to make sure we're talking and make sure we're always laughing.
How do you make finances work?
I make the finances work. That's me. So I take care of them, and then I keep him in the loop. We talk about it. We're just always talking.
Is it normal for you guys to argue?
Yep. You know it. We argue, and it's normal. And we always figure it out.
How successfully practice work-life balance?
How what?
How do you successfully practice work-life balance?
I don't know. I think we just have our groove. He's always been working. I've been working the past several years, and I pretty much turn off around dinner time. If I have to do something at night, I do it at night quickly, or while we're sitting next to each other on the couch. So we're still connecting even though we're working, and he does the same. He's on email a lot and gets work phone calls, but he never prioritizes work over us ever.
How did you decide on how to split up holidays?
I think because the families, since both families are not here where we are, it made it a little easier. So we just, way in the beginning, we just decided, we'll spend this holiday with my family, that holiday with his family. Like Christmas would be with us, and maybe Thanksgiving would be with his family. We just kind of went with it like that, and it's always worked out.
How did you figure out the household chores?
I don't know, we just do. We just work it out together, and luckily Dad does everything. He loves the outside chores, he does the inside chores, so it's, if something needs to be vacuumed, one of us vacuums. We both kind of are in sync with not, this is my job, this is your job. Other than outside, he does all the outside stuff.
What kind of boundaries protect your marriage?
Boundaries?
Yeah.
We have to be honest with each other, and we always have to communicate. I think that would just be there's just trust and honesty.
How long did you guys date for before you were married?
We dated for 2 years, and then we were engaged for a year, so a total of 3.
What did you guys do for fun?
What did we do for fun?
Yeah, like
We went out to dinner. We always went out to dinner. We went out with friends. We would go out with his friends, my friends, and a lot of times we would just sit around and watch a movie or TV.
what was the best moment in your relationship so far with him?
Best moment in our relationship?
Yeah.
The birth of every single one of our children.
What are the biggest differences between the two of you?
I'm a big mouth and he's not. He's quiet and I have a loud mouth, right?
Yeah. What is one area in your life where you feel like something is missing?
One area something is missing. I don't think there is anything. I think sometimes we just have to be more patient with each other but I don't think there's anything missing.
What do you guys do when you can't agree on something?
We talk it through. We talk it out always.
When you said I do, could you imagine that you'd still be married 20 plus years later?
Of course. It's till death do us part.
What do you think is the most challenging part of being married?
Making sure we put ourselves first. It's very easy to put you guys first, and we always do, but we always have to remember our marriage too, and that's sometimes we forget.
How do work responsibilities impact your family life?
Yeah, I don't really think they do. We manage them, and we put it down when we need to, and we've just been able to figure that part out.